The ancient Greeks long ago observed that power and society follow cycles. Their ideas set the stage for countless theories on civilizational patterns. They concluded that society, and governments in particular, have a tendency to devolve in social cycles largely based on the deficiencies of the ruling party. Precluding the explicit idea of social cycles is the concept of Dark Ages, dominated by poor leadership, war, famine, and technological and artistic stagnation, and Golden Ages, periods of peace, plenty, and social progress, across social scales from city-states to civilizations. The idea of social cycles, that civilizations, governments, and movements progress in stages that often repeat, goes back to antiquity, to as early as Plato. Plato was a forerunner of social cycle theories with his 5 forms of governments. There's aristocracy, where power is held by the people of noble families and is inherited. There's also timocracy, a society in which only property owners are allowed to hold public office. Third was oligarchy, a system of government where the rich hold all political power. Fourth was democracy, where leaders, laws, and policies are enacted by citizens who vote. And last was tyranny, where all power is in the hands of a single person who uses it without legal constraints. The devolvement from aristocracy to tyranny is primarily caused, according to Plato, by the imperfect interests of the ruling parties. However, the key figure in early social cycle theory is Polybius, who lived from 200 to 118 BC. As the son of a well-respected politician and strategos, or commanding general, of the Achaean League, Polybius had a perfect vantage point for observing the ebb and flow of Greek and Roman government. His work, The Histories, stands as the most significant documentation of the generations surrounding the Punic and Macedonian wars. Like Thucydides before him, he sought first-hand accounts and archival materials for a more objective history that prioritized fact over propaganda. The Greek idea of kyklos referred specifically to cycles among governments and was viewed as an inevitable product of the motivations of ruling classes. Polybius termed the kyklos more specifically as anacyclosis, the cycle of constitutions. His form of anacyclosis goes through similar forms of government as Plato put forward: democracy, aristocracy, monarchy, and their negative counterparts, ochlocracy, which is mob rule, oligarchy, and tyranny. Initially, society exists in a state of mob rule until a dominant leader rises and establishes monarchy. Polybius thought Philip II, the father of Alexander the Great, a prime example of a good monarch for his morality, diplomacy, and military skill. However, over time, a monarch's descendants, lacking the virtues that originally secured their family's power, turn into oppressive rulers, causing monarchy to slide into tyranny. The ruler's abuses lead prominent citizens to rebel and replace the tyranny with an aristocracy. However, these new leaders soon lose their sense of virtue too, transforming the state into an oligarchy. Eventually, the oligarchs are overthrown by the people, who set up a democracy. Yet democracy also falls to corruption, returning to mob rule and thus restarting the cycle. Because of this anacyclosis, Polybius promoted mixed governments, whereby government blends components of monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy, much like modern democratic republics today. Polybius attributed the success of the Romans in conquering the Mediterranean to their checks and balances among their institutions, specifically those that inculcate a dissident population with a desire for nobility, virtue, respect, and piety. In a rare opportunity afforded to few political theorists, Polybius was tasked with organizing new governments for several Greek cities in the aftermath of the destruction of Corinth by the Romans in 146 BC. Ostensibly, his theory met practice with success. The historian was highly regarded in both his native Greek and Roman circles. Polybius' ideas on mixed constitutions and separation of powers influenced his friend and student Scipio, Machiavelli, Montesquieu, Locke, and the writers of the U.S. Constitution. Cicero also drew heavily from Polybius and Anacyclosis, but believed Rome would break out of the Kyklos so long as the Republic maintained its virtues. Much like the American founders believed their government would succeed only if its people remained virtuous. In summary, Polybius saw political power as going through these cycles based on deficiencies of the ruling party. So, how do our modern mixed governments conform to these cycles? Have we broken the anacyclosis? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below to make this a two-way street. Also check us out on X for daily content, and see our website at thinkingwest.com for long-form essays, lists of books, and more. Until next time.